I'm Clinton Griffiths. On Wednesday, a federal court blocked President Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. The ruling coming from a 3-judge panel at the U.S. Court of International Trade. It said the sweeping tariffs and other global levies imposed under the International Emergency Economic Power Act were unlawful. Now, the ruling invalidates President Trump's April 2nd reciprocal tariff order, which included 30% tariffs on Chinese imports, 25% tariffs on select goods from Mexico and Canada, and a blanket 10% tariff on most imported goods. Ag Day's Michelle Rook joins me. Michelle, the Trump administration is appealing the ruling.
Clinton, this ruling could be somewhat of a game changer. Now, while not all of the current tariffs were struck down with the ITC court decision, the 10% universal tax does go away, as well as some of the tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada. And experts tell me this could have a bigger impact on the level and timing of the trade deals currently being brokered by the Trump administration. An International Trade Commission panel has ruled the Trump administration's Liberation Day reciprocal tariffs announced in April are not legal under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act,
which was really that April tariffs that were put on, that 10% base, also all of those country by country tariffs that were initiated. All of those are going to have to go back to zero because those were disallowed based on the court rulings.
That also includes the 30% tariffs on Chinese imports and 25% tariffs on some goods from Mexico and Canada. But Olson says other tariffs will stay in place.
However, the tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles will remain.
The financial markets reacted positively to the news, but why did it have little, if any, impact on the ag markets, in particular grains?
Most of our trading partners, with the exception of China, a few products in the European Union and a few products from Canada, have not retaliated against the major markets. So the ag markets are sitting back and watching that pretty closely, but they haven't responded with big price changes.
Plus, it's not the peak export season for grains. But Olson says if the court battle lasts through harvest, grain markets will get concerned, especially without any concrete trade deals. And he thinks the ruling will slow those talks down.
The timeline to be able to sit down and make these negotiations and make this happen is the pressure from these temporary tariffs have been removed. Okay, and so I do think that we will continue to negotiate, but the negotiations are going to drag on a little bit longer.
Currently, countries like the UK have only signed memorandums of understanding, but he says it usually takes 18 months to finish a trade deal, and the U.S. has lost tariffs as leverage.
I think we still have economic leverage. I think there's still political leverage that can be put on negotiations. It's just not going to be as intense as it was before.
The Trump administration filed a notice of appeal, and these cases can take several months to a year to resolve. So will the Trump administration adhere to the ruling?
Because as we've seen, what is legal and what is illegal doesn't necessarily concern the U.S. administration all that much.
Olson says if not, it violates the law and leaves the administration no ability to collect tariffs. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for Ag Day.